And so I basically thought, well, the basic presuppositions of the cogito are that there's data or information, and that there's logic. And I thought that's an interesting distillation. And I kind of thought, well, and this part was just a whim, really. I kind of thought, well, what if, I wonder if those aspects, those sort of irreducible elements that I couldn't think of a way of getting underneath those. Any kind of underneath would seem to just be another reiteration of that same sort of structure. And I kind of thought, well, is that just subjective? Is that just the sort of irreducible presuppositions of subjectivity? Or might that instead be something sort of foundational to existence itself? And so it was exploring that question of, well, imagine that those two things are foundational to existence itself, where I started to realize it actually seems like, you can't get beyond these, even on an objective level. Like, there's nothing that's not composed of these sort of elements. And that sort of led me to identifying, I guess, the transcendental ground of being. That's something that necessarily is the case with data and logic. And the scheme that followed from that, I was very surprised to find made a lot of sense. I was like, when I make that assumption, it actually kind of looks like the whole world fits very neatly into that paradigm. And not only that, but the existence of our particular world seems to make a lot of sense in that frame of mind. And I was very surprised by that. And ever since, I've been, quite astonished that a solution that to my mind seems so simple could at the same time seem so unerringly correct.
And how did that impact you? Because you said that you were going through a kind of existential crisis and on the verge of, or trying to rationalize committing suicide. So yeah, what did these discoveries shift in you?
Well, it gave me something to work with, somewhere to stand. I was able to, I guess, anchor my questions about myself and the meaning of my own life. And I was shocked because I wasn't expecting to find anything, really. And to be able to come at the end of that and to kind of say, actually, it's not completely nonsense that you can't make sense of, like there's no rhyme or reason to existence, and actually to start fitting together the pieces of that puzzle of what's my nature in light of that, and I guess what's the meaning of my life and the meaning of life in general. And answers to those kind of questions started to come a lot easier once I had something to base them on.
Cool. I'd love to get more into the details of data and logic. But first, I'd love to just ask a quick question of what would you say that DM theory is not?